Hey, look, new shirts are coming up in this world. We're going to give you all the facts, figures, and highlights from the Texas Motor Speedway this weekend on NASCAR Inside Winston Cup Racing. Our hot seat guest won the Busch race on Saturday, and the three of us participated on Sunday. We'll come back and tell you how all it went next.
Ryan Newman won Sunday's Samsung Radio Shack 500 at Texas, doing a different twist on the two-tire thing. He lost and then regained the lead in the final laps of a race that saw a number of potential winners sidetracked by 10 caution flags. That slowed the pace. Hi, welcome to the Sunny and Dry for a Change edition of NASCAR Inside Winston Cup. The weather was no problem in Texas. Glad to see that. Huge crowd on hand, as always, there. And our expert panel once again assembled here in our Charlotte studios to review Sunday's race now from their always 20/20 hindsight perspective. We welcome to the program Michael Waltrip, driver of the Napa Chevy for Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, Johnny Benson, driver of the Valvoline Pontiac for MBV Racing, and Ken Schrader, driver of the Derailers Dodge.
A band that was there performing Sunday morning, part of the Sony Music Entertainment Group.
There you go. Started 42nd, finished 24th.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about starting 42nd. I mean, you got to really do bad not to improve at all. We weren't that good. We were last car on the one lap down, and just kept working on it. We got it better at times, but never good enough. But we brought it home in one piece, and it was a new car. We'll take it and run it again.
It wasn't the same car. And
I crashed my car at Bristol, and it was number 10. I really like number 10, and they put number 10 on the dashboard of this, but I knew it wasn't number 10. And then I got looking, they put number 10 on the dashboard of all of them, so I think they're jacking with me, Mikey.
All right. Johnny started 13th. We're running in the top 10, in the top 5 for a good chunk toward the end of the race, but then it started smoking and clunking.
Yeah, I think we broke a valve. So Valvoline Pontiac was decent, qualified good. The whole day was good. James made some great calls on some pit stops, and the guys did a good job. And I thought we were going to finish about 6th, maybe a little bit better, and just finally quit. Like Kenny always says, one of those real important parts.
Yeah, but at least you know that it wasn't an oil-related problem.
No.
He probably doesn't have to worry about that.
I don't have to worry about that, but it was unfortunate. Because, you know, like I said, we had a great run, and it's going to help us in the points. We needed a top 10 finish, and ended up 32nd. So it's kind of a good day, bad day for us.
We all need a top 10.
Oh, I know it.
Finish.
They, like my problems aren't related to parts. You get the good stuff at Napa.
I hardly ever have any parts problems with the federated vehicles either.
Yeah, here we go.
But
Michael,
go ahead, Mike.
Started 37th, finished 17th in the Napa machine.
Yeah, we started slow and got decent at the end. The thing just really pushed all day.
Had to dodge a few things along the way.
Yes. You know, Texas is a fast track, and so we'll talk to Joe Nemechek in a little while, and I'm sure when he hit the wall in turn 3, it hurt worse than ever. And you heard Elliott Sadler when he crashed off turn 2. He said, that's as hard as I've ever hit. We just go so fast there that when something goes wrong, it sometimes involves many cars because of the intense speed, and it always hurts because of the way you impact the walls. So it's an interesting place to go race, but I passed a cat on the last lap on the outside, so that makes me look forward to next year. Maybe the groove started to widen out. We just ran out of laps. As long as they don't pave it. They always come up with some bright idea to pave it. Don't pave it. Leave it alone.
And that other one, they could grind.
Which one?
Bristol. Didn't you say something about that?
Is it kind of rough up top or something? And maybe if they ground, I don't know. I heard people talk about that.
Might be ground we covered last week. I'm not sure, though. Here are the top 10 finishers from Sunday's Samsung Radio Shack 500. Ryan Newman with his second NASCAR Winston Cup Series win. Good run for Jerry Nadeau. Matt Kenseth, championship leader, with another top 10. Coming up, our expert panel's complete review of the Texas Winston Cup race. We will also discuss some of the issues in the NASCAR Busch Series race, which Joe Nemechek won. Joe is here in the hot seat a little bit later on. He can tell us about his win Saturday and his soreness from Sunday. We'll be back in just a
Aaron's
minute.
Dream Machine there. I got clubbed in the back.
NASCAR Inside Winston Cup is brought to you by new Quaker State, the power to reduce friction, and by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
We check headlines now on NASCAR Inside Winston Cup. That is the car Tony Stewart's team intended to race at Texas, but it was impounded Friday by NASCAR when it wouldn't pass tech inspection. The whole car taken to NASCAR's R&D center near Charlotte for further examination. We'll talk more about that in a minute. Kyle Petty sat out the Texas race, needing more time to heal after that very vicious crash at Bristol a week ago. Christian Fittipaldi subbed for Kyle in the Georgia Pacific Dodge. Kyle apparently discovering some cracked ribs from that Bristol wreck during this past weekend. And the list of first quarter nominees are out for the Driver of the Year award. Those nominated include our man Mike, the Daytona 500 winner. In addition to the panel that votes on the award, this year's Speed Channel is giving you a vote. Log on to speedtv.com, cast your ballot. The first quarter winner announced live on Speed News on Saturday, April the 19th. The Tony Stewart car being taken to NASCAR's R&D center. First time that Mike Helton said he could recall NASCAR impounded an entire car. They left it in the garage because he said it wouldn't fit on the counter in the back of the truck where they usually put all the confiscated parts. Joe Gibbs and Greg Zipadelli both said the car was a production mistake, not something done intentionally to skirt the rules. Coach Gibbs saying that's not how he operates. NASCAR said they were trying to find out how teams might be trying to work around some of the new templates to gain an advantage. Thoughts?
Well, this is the first car they've ever taken, but it's the first time really in the history of NASCAR that they've had a place to take it. You know, they have the R&D center now that they can take that car and check it out and try to learn from it. And what a great opportunity to get one of the cars that Joe Gibbs Racing produced and take it to their center and look at it and see how maybe that could have happened. Now, it's my opinion that I'm impressed with the crew chiefs and the teams that build these cars every week that make them fit those templates. You don't understand what a job it is to produce a one-of-a-kind race car and have it conform to all those many measurements. It's easy to see how a car can get off slightly, and I don't think in any doubt in anyone's mind, or not in my mind at least, that Joe Gibbs Racing did that on purpose. It just didn't measure up properly when NASCAR checked it out.
I mean, they know that they're going to take tape measure and measure that deal, and they know that it's going to have to be right. So it didn't go out of that shop thinking they're going to get by with something.
No, somebody messed up somewhere, and I think that's what Greg Zipadelli said. You know, we made a mistake and we regret that, but I don't think there's any intention of skirting the rules.
I wonder if we can buy parts off that car.
I don't know, it's a nice car.
I wonder if they're going to keep the whole thing completely, or if they're going to give it back.
They'll give it back.
It'll be interesting to see what the punishment does end up becoming. Obviously, it's midday Monday as we tape our show, so we don't know what that would be yet. But
yeah, just after 11.
That qualifies as midday, doesn't it?
No, it's before lunch. I don't know.
Mid-morning.
Next topic.
Late morning.
Some people are saying Kyle Petty's hit at Bristol was the largest number yet recorded on the black boxes.
And I can understand that because I watched it live. I saw it happen. And the reason why that would have happened was his car was violently spinning to the left. You know, it was more faster than just a hit at Bristol would have been. His car was pivoting to the left when it smacked that wall. I mean, they knocked the battery out of the car. It was a horrible crash, and I knew when he hit that was not going to be a big crash.
And that showed this week. You know, Kyle says, "Yeah, I'm going to run the car. I'm going to get there." He got in the car and ramped some laps. Says, "You know, still hurting pretty bad." So
Christian was doing a good job on Sunday, doing a real good job.
All right, headlines of the week. We will take a break here. On the way to the commercial, we'll look at the Bud Pole Award standings thus far this season. Bobby Labonte with his second Bud Pole of the year in Texas qualifying on Friday.
I had to battle track position, and I was a little worried there when Junior got by, but we were good on old tires, and that's what paid the dividends. The thing of it is, I didn't want to hit him to get by him, and we were really close coming off turn 4, and I dragged him down into one, and just a great car, great horsepower all day. Penske engines was really great, and just happy to be here.
Ryan Newman becoming the 7th different winner in 7 races this season, scoring the Samsung Radio Shack 500 Sunday at Texas Motor Speedway. We review the event now with our expert panel, Michael Waltrip, Johnny Benson, and Ken Schrader. Race summary on the day, 10 caution flags, but no rain, which was a good thing. And margin of victory, pretty sizable for Ryan Newman. He got away at the end despite taking on just those 2 tires. I want to start by following up on something we discussed during our race preview last week. Talk about the track giving up grip at the end of the weekend. Overall speeds compared to previous years, and did the track end up having given up a lot?
Pretty close.
Still very fast.
Yeah, we heard it was going to be a lot slower, but we didn't see it. And the Busch cars were slower qualifying, but maybe just because there wasn't as much rubber on the track or whatever, but it was... Our pole was what, just a
1/10?
Like a 10th
One
off
tenth
the
off,
record,
yeah.
yeah.
And race speeds seemed to be the same. And Busch speeds on Saturday were way up in the race, too. We ran really fast in that race.
And it was pretty cool temperature-wise, so the speeds were right there. But all in all, like when we tested there, we felt that the track had given up a lot of grip. But I think once they got rubber back in the racetrack again, speeds are right back up.
My Busch car actually ran laps faster than I qualified, and faster in Busch race runs than the Cup car. So it was kind of crazy.
Ran race trim laps faster than you qualified.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fast. Let's start with Bill Elliott jumping into the lead early, but a series of caution flags slowed the early pace. Lap 12, that would be an oil leak from Jimmy Spencer's car. First caution. Second one, lap 42, trouble in turn 4.
Ooh. Looks like Steve got loose there. Just got away from him and slid. I don't know if he just goes down to the ground.
And lap 47, Bill Elliott leads on the restart, but
Wow.
doesn't last for long.
Massive engine problem.
Catastrophic.
Said he went to grab a gear and there wasn't anything there.
Oh, it was an engine?
Yeah.
Was engine or
Yes,
gear?
was. No, he was shifting through the gears on the restart, and when he went to...
Oh, when you said wasn't anything there, I thought it
I'm
was
sorry.
Let's not
transmission.
split hairs, boys. Come on.
Split hairs.
Let's see, what was the next topic on my list here?
You know,
I'm
we never
completely
talked
lost.
about his haircut and his trip to New York.
Mike's?
Mikey
Yeah.
Sacks.
Yeah, we probably didn't. Would you like to
We
do that
forgot
now or
it
after the
last
race review?
It turned out all right.
You want
go
a
back.
second opinion?
The trip to New York was nice. And
Okay.
I don't have gray hair anymore.
After the series of early cautions, the race ran green for some time with Elliott Sadler doing most of the leading.
Well,
he
he
led
was fast.
91 laps most on the day.
It was extremely fast. When he come all the way up and got right behind us, and I think at that time we were running like 12th, and he pretty much lapped the field there. And a bunch of guys got the laps back, but he was very fast.
But
Oh, trouble.
Ooh, hard hit.
after a debris caution at 157, he fell back a few spots, and at 167 had this big wreck, was questioning whether he had a right rear going down at the time of his spin.
Probably look at it there.
You gotta wait till he stops. Look at it, but yeah, it's down now. It looks like
Yeah.
after he spun, but he definitely got loose coming off that corner, and that thing headed to the inside wall. Extremely fast and pretty hard hit.
Then there was another wreck when the field came to pit road.
I have to ask Joe how that happened. It looked like he had a pretty good view of it.
Yeah, that was big. That was big.
Yeah, I'd say he had a good view of it.
Yeah.
Pretty much got it figured out.
Hey, Joe, what happened?
I think we'll wait till we put a microphone on him. Will that help?
Yeah, that'll help.
Okay. I want to back up. Coming to the yellow flag from Elliott Sadler's crash, Matt Kenseth slowed down to let some people try and get a lap back. Jeff Gordon decided he didn't want to let that many people get a lap back. And the following highlight ensued. This is coming to the caution flag. Kenseth slows. Gordon passes him coming to the yellow. Wanted to keep a couple of those other guys a lap down.
Yes, and Jeff made a great point. And he said, just because Matt wanted his teammate to get a lap back didn't mean I wanted his teammate to get a lap back. We're racing him not only for the win, but for the championship. And quite frankly, I'll have to have this one explained to me why I have to slow down just because Matt did and let people have the lap back. Mike Helton's answer in a statement that I heard secondhand was that it's the leader's choice to decide who to give a lap back. It's not the second person's choice to make that decision. So,
which I think a lot of people agree, but I think when Matt passed, or when Jeff passed Matt, Jeff's the leader now. So I'm
but
not sure.
The rules say that
You can race back
Jeff
to the line.
can pass him.
right, but then they said he couldn't. So I'll have to have it explained to me too, and I'm sure this will be another topic at the drivers' meeting this weekend.
Maybe you can bring it up.
No, I didn't have anything to do with this one. I asked the question as to why we went to double file restart with 10 to go at Texas on Sunday in the Busch race, and a big crash occurred. And they said that it wasn't 10 to go. We got the green, we were still on 11 to go. When we crossed the line, then it was 10 to go. I said that seems a little bit like a technicality, but that's the way the rule went down.
So after Gordon passed Kenseth coming to the yellow, he actually got put, now I heard this both ways, he got put or he chose to go back behind Kenseth for the restart.
Jeff told me that he was planning on getting behind Matt. You know, he didn't want the lead. He wasn't taking the lead from Matt. He just was keeping people a lap down. So he would have probably been put behind Matt, but he was going to go behind Matt. He didn't want the lead from Matt.
I don't know if he would have been put behind him if he would have stressed the fact that he's going to stay in front of Matt. I don't know if there was anything he could have done. I think he would have.
How much you want to bet?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know where you've been the last 10 years.
We might call you on that one.
Yeah, but it was obvious that they changed everything.
They put the guys back on the lead lap. They would have put Matt back in front of Jeff.
Yeah. Here's the thing, I guess, what it all comes down to. Is it time now for the gentleman's agreement to be put in the rule book? Is it time for the rule to be saying, instead of you race back to the caution flag, the leader races back to the caution flag? Because, I mean,
that's basically what happened.
Says Jeff Gordon led at the line, and those other guys were still a lap down.
Right.
But that's basically what happened yesterday. So, I mean, we understand that that's the rule now, it seems, unless something changes between now and next week.
Was that the yellow? Well, that wasn't the yellow yesterday that we had Jimmy Spencer and Ricky Rudd sitting there right past the start-finish line.
No, that was earlier.
And, you know, that was a whole other situation, and that's
normal. They just tried to race back.
Right, but I mean, they're racing back. We got a lap back that way because I was basically just a half a car length behind Ryan, but he's faster.
Right.
And I'm not going to get it back. And right at the very end, he checked up,
yeah,
and I got it back. But
well, that's normal.
Yeah, but still, the whole race into the yellow thing. We're racing the yellow, and we got guys up there.
You're blocking the racetrack.
Blocking the racetrack, and
yeah, that you know, it needs to be. We shouldn't race back, but I don't know. They don't want to score it that way. It's hard to score that way.
They talked about a possibility of
freezing the field.
Well,
we have GPS now.
The two cars. They say the first two cars that were lapped down. Every time they get it back. They get to go around and they get it back because.
Maybe that's what they have to end up doing. I don't know.
We need to look at it.
This week,
maybe if they're within so many seconds of the leader, or something. But you know, if a guy's a half a lap behind a leader, he shouldn't necessarily just get the free pass, should he?
No, he should.
This giving people lap backs all started when we had more and more teammates in the race. You know, Matt Kenseth was looking out for his teammate Kurt Busch, getting him back on the lead lap, and that's how this basically all started. 100 years ago, you would not find anybody give you a lap back for anything. You know, they would race you all the way, but then we started to see that get lax somewhat by folks with teammates wanting to give them a break.
And in Jeff's defense, you know, he's competing for a championship. He's going to be one of the guys that's doing it. They had him a lap down, and he's wanting to keep it that way.
I don't think either driver did anything wrong, but I think the rule needs to be clarified to.
Well, it needs to be a rule. It needs to be a rule.
Right. Yeah. Because we found out that the gentleman's agreement only works when
the helmet's off.
They're not, when they're not competing. So let's move on to the next topic before I dig a hole there. After a long green flag run led to a set of stops for the leaders, Kenseth and Gordon, with 111 and 110 laps to go, pit under green, and this would lead to our Enterprise turning point, which we'll see right after the pit stops, which will be a crash that brings out the caution after these guys have made their stops.
This is on the front straightaway when these pit stops are going on. And we were real fortunate with the Napa Chevy. I pulled onto pit road, and at the same time I pulled on the pit road, they crashed, so I shot them through, kept me from losing another lap, as we see a bunch of people here lose a lap when Jimmy Spencer gets together a little bit with Tony Stewart. You can see Jimmy's trying to stay off Tony, got loose. Tony's real lucky Jimmy didn't get into him any more than he did, and Jimmy just kind of finished off a bad day he was having already.
Yeah. that's one of the deals. Jimmy did everything he could to stay off of Tony and wound up getting himself in trouble because of it. Otherwise, both of them would have been in trouble anyway.
Whoa, Sterling, he had already been in one wreck and almost got another one there.
And so our Enterprise turning point, Ryan Newman, inherits the race lead with the previous two leaders, Jeff Gordon and Matt Kenseth, now trapped on the tail end of the lead lap. So Ryan gets out in front for the first time because of a good break there. And when we continue our expert panel's review of the Texas race, we will see Ryan duel with Dale Jr., one having only 2 tires from his last stop, the other with 4. The guy with 2 won. How'd that happen?
I was so tight and I couldn't keep the car on the bottom, and he was taking advantage of that. Got up underneath me, but I was able to pinch him down and not give him much choice on exiting over the corners, and I maintained the spot, but I'd give him another lap. He'd have had it.
That was fun there racing with Junior, but I would like to do that for the win instead of for second or third place.
It was tough, man. A lot of long green laps, and you know, if you didn't have a perfect car, you really had to work hard and you know, behind the wheel, and I worked hard today.
Thoughts of some of the top finishers in Sunday's race down at Texas Motor Speedway. We continue our review now with Michael, Johnny, and Kenny, and we took a long time discussing that, so we'll hustle right on through. All those people that we saw get trapped by the caution flag for Jimmy Spencer's wreck, restart on the tail end of the lead lap. They get their laps back when this wreck happens just after the green.
Man, Skinner winds up taking a vicious lick. You could see Steve was spinning and Mike went by on the outside, and Steve caught him right here. And watch Mike hit this wall.
Yeah, that's a pretty hard hit. We saw one of those in the Busch race too, and it's just...
That would be a good place for soft wall technology.
It's a very tough hit.
As with those outside walls, now that I think about it.
Yeah. Well,
and here come all the guys that will get a lap back here. Gordon and Kenseth and Jeff Burton and Jimmy Johnson and Kurt Busch. All those guys get back in sync with the leader. So the crashes for Jimmy Spencer and Steve Park setting off a whole series of yellow flags. 5 in 57 laps. We saw the first 2. Let's look at the rest. This is lap 243. Christian Fittipaldi.
And Dale Jarrett got very lucky here. You don't usually spin out in the middle of 3 and 4. Christian got into Dale. What happened? He was on the inside, got loose, washed up into Dale, and you can see the black marks. Dale went spinning and never hit the wall.
Lap 251, Bobby Labonte. And how he managed to get this slowed down enough where he didn't really pound the inside wall.
it just turned right.
Boy.
Yeah, it was just lucky that it didn't hit as hard as it could.
He was headed for the same kind of thing Skinner had, but it just broke the right way for him. Top right, that would be our upcoming hot seat guest, Joe Nemechek.
Wow, pretty good hit there.
Yeah, I'd say. I bet he can tell us about it, too.
He'll tell us, yeah.
Under the caution for Joe's crash, final pit stops were made with the leader, Ryan Newman's team, trying a two-tire stop. They said they wanted to make sure they stayed in front.
Well, this track is hard to pass. I mean, that's what's tough. So him and Ryan, those guys, are obviously got a great race car week in and week out. Two tires we've seen work pretty good in the pass here at Texas, but I think as long as you're up front, you got good, clean air, it's definitely worth the gamble.
Dale Jr.'s team gets the job done there, came in second, went out right up front, and I heard Matt Borland say he thought more people would get two, so he was kind of surprised that he was the only one.
Yeah, they were down to the point of only really needing one can of fuel, so, but only a couple other people tried the two. All right, so the restart comes with 45 to go, and it looks like the two-tire thing is not going to pay off for Newman because within a lap and a half of the restart, Junior's got him for the race lead.
Yeah, Junior, you know, with two new tires, they're clean. You know, he's going to have some pretty good run here at the beginning. It's going to take a couple laps for Ryan's right sides. One, to build a little bit of pressure. Two, to clean off the left side tires there. But once they do, we're going to see that he's going to be okay with it. It's going to be fine.
So Junior gets the lead there. Newman hung with him, though, and with 11 laps to go, would make what will be the winning pass. He creeps in on the back of Junior and got the nose underneath.
How come this wasn't the Enterprise moment of the race?
Because I thought him getting the track position that he really hadn't had was the key point for Ryan.
Oh,
Jeff
so
Gordon,
you decided that?
I decided that, yes.
Is that some of that stuff you do when you get here before we do?
Yeah.
We wondered what you did.
Really?
A couple cups of coffee, that kind of thing, you know.
There he goes. He probably feels like that was the Enterprise moment of the race when he took the lead with 10 to go. But whatever you think, Alan.
Yeah.
Thank you. If you'd like to disagree with me, you could show up about 3 hours early some Monday.
Does that have something to do with all that paperwork you got there too?
Just a little bit.
It sure showed how good Ryan's car was on the long run to be able to come back like that.
And then he drove off 4 seconds almost, margin of victory in 10 laps. That's pretty big.
Finishing order from the Samsung Radio Shack 500 on Sunday. Ryan Newman's second NASCAR Winston Cup win. Dodge with its first victory of 2003.
That's 4/10 a lap. Think about it.
You do the math.
Yeah.
13th place, Dale Jarrett, last one on the lead lap. 31st place, Brett Bodine was the last running at the finish.
And he was wounded. His car was smoking.
And the rest all had their problems and wound up in the garage area shy of the checkered flag. All right, so that's the way it went at Texas on Sunday. Coming up next, Joe Nemechek in the hot seat. He earned a win on Saturday and earned our sympathy on Sunday. It was a pretty interesting weekend for our hot seat guest today. He won the NASCAR Busch Series race down at Texas Motor Speedway Saturday, and then gave the Turn 3 wall a pretty good pounding on Sunday, as we saw, due to a problem. Now joining us, driver of the UAW Delphi Chevy for Hendrick Motorsports, Joe Nemechek and company.
Yes, John Hunter.
I guess first question is, how are you?
Feeling pretty good. Pretty sore today. That was any racetrack you wreck at, especially Texas. Watching qualifying, I think the fast cars were 195 getting in the corner, but so I figure I was doing 180 when evidently we run over something and cut the outside of the sidewall and went up, and it just kept going straight. And I knew I was going to hit, so I prepared myself and stretched my head forward and put it up against the headrest and took a big breath of air because I knew it was going to hurt, and it knocked the air out of me. Had no brakes, just thing hit really hard. I know I'm limping there, but I got that heat shield on my other foot and I can't stand right. So everybody said, "Is your leg hurt?" No, my leg didn't hurt. You know, shoulder, ribs, just pretty violent wreck.
What kind of seat?
It was Randy LaJoy seat. I mean, it was just a big hit.
Did what it's supposed to.
It did what it's supposed to. I mean, the car. I had to do a double take where I finally got my breath back and was getting out. The shifter tunnel was pushed way up in the air, so it hit hard. Very hard.
Mikey's got a place that can cube those for you. They really come out. They really come out neat.
Gordon sheet metal up in Statesville.
Squish them.
Squish it down to a square. Schrader got one. I got one. They're pretty neat.
Yeah.
A crushed race car.
Your performances have been have to have you. Easy for me to say.
Spit it out, Mike.
I'm a professional. Have to have you very optimistic about the rest of the season. The car's performing well on Sundays.
We've been doing very well. It's neat because we have a lot of new people involved in the organization. And, Peter Suspenzo on board. Ed Guzzo's car chief in the car. We've got new pit crew. I mean, these guys have been doing very, very well this year. We just need a little bit of luck. If we can get a little bit of luck and a break to go our way at one of these racetracks, we're gonna win some races. I mean, we've been right there, and it seems like every race something happens. You know, Atlanta we ran good, and we had a loose lug nut one time, and some nuts fell off on another pit stop, and it just seems like every race there's something that's happened, and if we can just have one race where nothing happens, we'll be good.
Well, it seems like the Busch side of it, though, is your own deal. Tell us a little bit about that. And of course, it went pretty good. And what point of that race did you say, "Hey, I might win this thing"?
Well, I didn't know what was going to happen. We had a really good race car. Thought I had a shot at getting the pole for that race, and then after qualifying, we found a bunch of water in the oil. It looked like a milkshake inside the oil tank. So we had to change engines and go to the rear. So I passed an awful lot of race cars. Our Cellular 1 Chevy, it drove good all day. It turned really good in the middle of the corner and off. It seemed like that's where I could beat the guys the most. And there at the end, we got up to like third place, and then they had the big wreck, and then it was Todd Bodine and myself. I'm talking to the guys because I run through all the stuff. I don't know how anybody didn't turn me around and wreck me, but we were sitting on the backstretch, and the guy said, "We come here to win this race." And I said, "Guys, I think I have a shot as long as I don't have a flat tire." And then the spotter come on and said, Todd Bodine's got a flat tire. Because I had one the caution before that. So it's just, you never know till it's over.
Crazy day.
Very, very wild race.
Pretty big deal when, back to the Cup deal when Peter came on last year.
Peter Suspenzo and myself, we've hit it off very good. It's the relationship is there. We're able to communicate, and he has a lot of good people. He knows how to organize and distribute the load, and we have a great shop guy. The engineering department is awesome, and we're able to take all that information and the motor shop in there, and he can get what he needs to give me the feel I need in that race car. And he's up to date on his wind tunnel and all the aero stuff that has to go on, and we've had great race cars. I mean, you know that if you can hop in there and that thing feels good, you can step on that gas pedal, and that's what they've been doing for me.
What happened to John Hunter's tooth? Did he lose one? Can you show
Smile.
him?
You have to smile a little bit.
Look, you're there. How much is he going to get some? Is the tooth fairy going to take care of him?
Oh, he's got another one coming out, so I'm sure he will.
What about that?
They're discussing the going rate for the tooth fairy during the previous commercial.
Inflation has definitely set in.
Inflation has set in.
The economy is very healthy where the tooth business is concerned, apparently.
But it's hearing it from your kids.
Yeah. You want to hang out with us for a minute?
Sure.
Take a break here. When we come back, we're going to look at a little bit of that Busch Series race from Saturday down in Texas. Joe Nemechek is with us in the hot seat. Sunday, NASCAR Winston Cup racing on Fox from Talladega. It's the Aaron's 499. Dale Earnhardt Jr. trying to win a 4th straight race there. Sunday on Fox, noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. We'll be back. Our Busch Series update is brought to you by Smooth Busch Beer, an easy drinking Busch Light. Head for the mountains of Busch. Joe Nemechek with us, winner of Saturday's O'Reilly 300 at the Texas Motor Speedway. Started last, overcame a flat tire, missed a great deal of carnage en route to the victory. We look at some of the action here. Now, the race featured 9 cautions and 2 red flags. Here's the big moment, a restart. Brian Vickers in the Hendrick 5, 21 to go. And he gets busted for being in the act of passing to the left when he crossed the start-finish line.
He had a dominant car, that's for sure. His car was really fast all day long.
They were fast all weekend too. You know, I mean, they were extremely good all weekend. But he definitely was passing before the start-finish line, as we'll see right here.
Thoughts on the fact that he was not past him at the start-finish line?
That's not what the rule was about, though. It wasn't so you can be 4 wide, but the 2 cars aren't ahead of the other 2. It's so you're still double file when you get there. You see the 19 spins the tires a little bit, but he was in no danger of getting run over from the back if he would have checked up just a little bit.
I think we all have a clear understanding of what the rule is now after this.
It was discussed some Sunday morning.
I got black flag for that back at Milwaukee a few years ago. Same thing, I think the guy missed gear or something, and there wasn't room by the wall, so I went to the other side, but he got it going, got it in gear and got it going, and I didn't slow down. I got black flag, kind of the same deal. I was a little farther past him, though.
But if he didn't get going, it's like,
and actually the next guy too.
You know, it's a tough call. Tough call.
It's a tough call.
Brian definitely.
But they did run good all weekend.
Oh yeah, Brian Vickers, he definitely had the dominant car.
But basically, what I'm hearing from you guys is you're okay with the call. It was that.
Yeah.
That was an appropriate application of the rule.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for Brian though, because that's kind of a tough way to lose a race he was going to win.
His toughness wasn't done quite yet. We'll look at that here. Vickers gets to take his penalty under the caution flag, putting Todd Bodine into the lead. There's the debris caution flag. The restart comes with 9 laps to go. Todd's leading, but there are others in front of him on the tail end of the lead lap.
It actually came with 10 to go.
And much ugliness will ensue into turn 1. Red and white cars, Mike Bliss. The second yellow car is Shane Meal.
Wow.
By the time it's done, there'll be 15 cars in the smoking heat.
Hey, and guess what? The old Aaron's Dream Machine is one of them.
I went right through. 87 went right through the.
How did you do that?
I have no idea. I saw cars bouncing off the wall and sliding. It was a disaster zone, and somehow I weaved up and down and went through it.
Here are cars getting around leader Todd Bodine to get their lap back.
Todd's got a flat tire. He's going to get loose there.
Yep. Coming to the caution flag. Here's
he
another
definitely
look.
got hit right in the right rear. And how it didn't turn him around, I'm not sure. But you can see Mike Bliss's car come down and catch him.
That was a hard
There's
hit.
the 87 coming into the screen.
Yep, look at that.
Shoot.
Threading the needle.
Whoop, 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 whoop,
Slow down,
whoop,
slow down.
whoop.
There you go.
Wow.
Isn't that
That's
amazing?
good. Yeah. It was good. There's a lot of guys that weren't quite as
You
fortunate.
just never know which way they're going to go. Now, if that last car in front of you wouldn't have swung back up, you were done.
The race red flag for cleanup. Todd Bodine's right rear tire goes flat. He pits once the yellow resumes. And that puts Joe in front for a final 5-lap sprint to the finish as Bodine gets his flat tire replaced. But that final 5 laps, that won't even all be run without another wreck.
No, Hermie Sadler was on the lead lap, enjoying a great day in the Toys R Us car. Again, he's been running really well lately. And
I got a great restart there.
Yes, you did.
Very good restart. Started pulling away, and then another big wreck.
that 22 car got into the back of Hermie, it looked like. I don't know why they got together, but the 2 cars definitely got together.
And Joe comes back around to the caution flag, and that'll be it. Score the W.
It was a good day for the whole Cellular One team. I mean, we had good pit stops. I think by the time the first stop came out, we were up to 12, and that wasn't but 30 laps of the race. So I had a very good race car. I mean, Brian Vickers, he had the best car, and we were close.
Did you lift the hood up sometime during the day?
Yeah, I saw that.
There was a hood pin out.
One of your hood pins was loose when you were swerving around there. You were closer to that wreck than you thought.
Oh, yeah.
He thought he was pretty close.
Oh, yes.
Joe's 14th NASCAR Busch Series win and his second of 2003. We'll be back in a minute. This reminder that inside the NASCAR Busch Series here on Speed Channel, Monday night at 11, Wednesday night at 7. Randy LaJoie, Hank Parker Jr., and this week Todd Bodine join me to review the Texas Busch Series action further. Plus, we'll have Bakersfield Truck Series winner Dennis Setzer, and Back in the Day featuring Jimmy Johnson. Check it out later tonight or Wednesday early. Time now for Speed Fan Q&A, your weekly topics of inquiry. Jeff Merkel of Sicklerville, New Jersey wants to know, when leaving a pit stop, some drivers spin the tires, some don't. Should you or should you not? Survey says
The majority of the guys are going to spin their tires. It's awful hard not to, trying to keep the engine going, and it, you know, the tires are new. They're going to be a little bit slippery there for a little bit. You try not to smoke them all the way to the end of pit road, but
have anything to do with the surface of the pit box? Some are concrete, some are paved. Does it matter?
A little bit.
It'll change. You know, when you first drop the jack, you got to get some momentum. So you're going to spin a little bit, and the trick is getting the back tires to hook up, letting off the gas without killing the motor to get that jump.
There you go. Next question comes from Todd of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Before the race starts, the United States Armed Forces do a flyover. Does NASCAR pay for this service? I'm getting blank stares. So I called this morning and I checked this one out. I know the answer.
Good.
No. The military does it for public relations and recruiting purposes out of that function that they have. But the track operator I talked to this morning said there's a ton of paperwork involved. It goes all the way to the Pentagon to get approved for them to do that.
And they've done this for a lot of years, but it's great that they're doing it now, especially with everything that's going on. It's pretty cool.
Okay. Got a question for our group? Here's how you get it to us.
To submit your questions, visit speedtv.com. Go to the program section and look for Inside Winston Cup.
As always, lots of programming on the weekend for you from Talladega and other areas. Wind Tunnel, Dave Despain, Friday night, late night, trackside from Talladega, NASCAR Victory Lane after the race on Sunday. And next, American Le Mans special. Highlights of the 12 hours of Sebring. Racetrack Joe Nemechek knows well. You raced there before Sebring, right?
That was one of my first road races I ever went to in 1988.
There you go. Let's talk Talladega, shall we? This weekend, the Aaron's 499. And while our panel tries to determine where actually the finish line will be for that event,
well, they got to change it. It's always been 500 miles before, so they can't do the same thing.
Aaron's is making dreams come true. $499 a month. Did you know that? That's where that comes from. Isn't that catchy?
That's cool.
Get it? So if you want a big screen, go to Aaron's. $499 a month.
Maybe they won't start until turn 1.
A spin around Talladega now with the view from Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car.
This is a good car to be in. Another real good car to have as your teammate up there.
Yeah, we're looking good at this point. Hopefully we can see some more of that action on Sunday, but Talladega is just a big sweeping racetrack with a lot of bumps.
A lot of bumps. Should run top, bottom, middle, 3 wide, 4 wide. It isn't a spot where you say, well, okay, I have to run the top, I have to run the bottom, as far as the car handling. Just a matter of being in the right lane.
Are the smaller fuel cells working? They doing what they set out to do with them?
I don't think they're hurting. I haven't seen a negative effect of them. It's still, there is a few laps where you're not grouped up as much. Obviously, it makes it adds the extra pit stops, and that's a little tense if everybody comes in together.
It's exciting.
Because every once in a while you can have an accident on pit road, but I haven't seen no bad side of it at all.
No.
The only thing is more frequent times to pit road, but they're generally uneventful, and Talladega is a big track with a lot of room in the pit, so that helps as well.
Okay. That's Talladega this weekend. On the way to the break here, NASCAR's top 10, plus more to satisfy us. Matt Kenseth's lead going up from 138 to 155 over Kurt Busch this week. We continue. Let's see, Mikey stays 4th.
I fell back a little bit. 16th. So they're not complaining about it, though.
Joe right behind him in 17th. And there are the top 30 in the championship. Sorry, Ken. We'll be right back.
Speed Channel's coverage of NASCAR Inside Winston Cup is brought to you by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Call 1-800-RENT-A-CAR. Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
Coverage from Talladega starts Friday here on Speed with Busch Series practice, followed by Winston Cup qualifying. Then we go to Winston Cup final practice on Saturday on FX, the Busch Series race on Fox, Speed News Saturday night, and then the whole lineup on Sunday. The Winston Cup race on Fox, NASCAR edition Speed News, NASCAR Victory Lane. All races you possibly want to watch this weekend, all across the dial here. Joe, thanks for coming by. We got a couple minutes. Appreciate you taking the time, especially on a morning where you probably had to work a couple kinks out when you got out of bed.
It's hard to get out of bed this morning.
Yeah.
Are you taking the cellular one Chevy to Talladega?
We'll be in Talladega, and we got to redeem ourselves from Daytona. So.
I see. Cool. What about Rudiman? What are your plans with him for the rest of the year? He did a good job in Texas.
Did a very good job. That was the first race of a 5-race deal with Hills Brothers Coffee on board, and excellent job. You know, led a good part of the race and kept his head, head on straight. Car was in one piece there till that one big wreck, and just wanted to finish. He's got 4 more races. Next race for him will be at California.
Cool.
He's from a racing family, isn't he?
Yeah, him and Brian Patty was actually crew chief for him this week, and he's from Zephyr Hills. Him and Brian grew up together. You know, his dad is Buzzy Rudiman.
Right.
You know, the legend. So,
Yeah.
David's good. He's going to be a good guy.
That'll be fun.
Thanks again. John Hunter, you were great too.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Busy weekend, Mike. Aaron's all over the race weekend in Talladega.
It is. We're going to go to Batesville, Arkansas with Schrader on Friday night and sign some autographs over there. Down to Mobile, Alabama on Saturday night, which is where Buffy's grandparents live. Hello, grandparents. And racing both cars, both Aaron's races this weekend. So real proud that my sponsor takes over the Talladega weekend. Hopefully we can get them a win.
That'd be good. I got to thank everybody at American Iron Horse and Tim Edmondson for letting me borrow a motorcycle this week and see the shop. That's pretty cool. So might have to get one of those. They're neat.
There you go. What about you, Schrader?
I'm just going with you all weekend.
What about this big test you got?
Oh, going to Toledo. Test Wednesday for upcoming race with the Federated Out Parts car Sunday after Richmond, ARCA race at Toledo. So, yeah, I got to go get ready for that, and looking forward to going to see my buddies down in Batesville, Arkansas, Friday night.
All right, so we got the logos on the shirts. We're stepping up in the world. Everything's all good to go.
Can we get a zoom on this logo?
Rack this thing up and do it again next Monday night at 7 Eastern here on Speed. Goodbye.